What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about your money. If you're in the market for a new gun and you got some tax money left over, this is going to be a good video to watch. I enjoy making these videos because it's kind of a way that I can tell you how to use the money that you got from the government who doesn't want you to have guns to go buy some guns. So it's a win-win for me. Before we do that, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you we have a lot of the guns on the channel. We try to make the most honest gun content on the internet, and you support us for that, and we thank you. If you want to do that, just go down to the link in the description and sign up to Patreon. There's also a link in the description to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. It's a youth shelter, and I'd really appreciate it if you would click that link, and it'll bring you right to the donate page, and you can donate to those kids. Now, let's get right into it with number 5, and I wanted to start things off with a freaking bang stick. So we're going to be talking about my favorite pump shotgun, and I recently got a new model of it that became available. This is actually the Mossberg 590 Retrograde. So, you guys familiar with guns, played Call of Duty or something, you're probably familiar with the Mossberg 590. It is a slightly upgraded version of the 500 with a little thicker barrel, heat shield, just meant for more duty use. And the Retrograde series has all the quality that you're used to with Mossberg. They come with this pretty cool set of walnut features here. So you got the walnut stock, and you have the walnut pump, and then you're gonna have the raised sights with the protected ghost ring sight. You're gonna have the awesome Mossberg safety there and Mossberg controls, and then you're also gonna have that bang and heat shield. This is 8+1 in 12 gauge, and even though it's a pump, it is a little bit heavier, so it does handle the recoil really well. Mossberg has been my favorite maker of pump shotguns, especially over Remington these days, because Remington's quality kind of fell off in the 90s and 2000s, whereas in my opinion, Mossberg did not. This is one of the highest quality pump shotguns you can actually get, past tests in the military, Marines, things like that, for durability and long-term reliability. One of the most reliable shotguns ever created, and it just happens to be affordable as well at around $650 for this highly upgraded model. I think that's very nice. So for $650, you can get yourself a home defense gun that you can use in pretty much any situation and will take care of anything in North America, but also it still has the modularity of the Mossberg system. So not only do you get the universal mag release, so you don't have to go back and forth, it's great for righties and lefties, but you're also going to be able to put any kind of parts on it that you want. Since Mossberg, the 500 series is the most produced shotgun of all time, red dot mounts and different pumps and lights and all the stuff that you're going to want to put on it is going to be available, and that's pretty cool. The Mossberg also is a little more durable long term in my opinion because it does have the dual system on the pump as well. We have a little bit of a sticker here to add shotgun cards, and I will be adding a light eventually, but that's pretty much all you're going to need with this gun right out of the box. In at number 4, we're going to do something a little weird. We're going to be talking about a gun that folds in half. This is the new Smith & Wesson FPC, and it does this. This is the answer to a lot of the issues with the brace ban. Since braces are no longer a thing, thanks for that ATF, now we're gonna have to deal with a bunch of guns that fold in half, all kind of weird. We've had a couple on the channel already. The Kel-Tec Sub 2000 is something in this price point, but not near this quality level. And then you also have guns like the pivot gun that are more expensive that I feel like this gun outshoots, which is why we put this one on the list. This thing comes in at a pretty reasonable price of $700. It is unbelievably lightweight at around 5 pounds, 8 ounces, and it has a barrel length of 16 inches with a capacity of somewhere between 17 and 23. It takes the M&P magazines. In my opinion, they're a little bit superior even to the Glock mags just because they're metal and they fall out easier, and they work great with a metal magazine release without wearing on the mags. And this gun so far has been very reliable. We haven't had 1,000 rounds through it yet, but we're putting rounds through it every day. It has an interesting way it breaks, and in my opinion, it's superior to the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 because of that. You can see this optic here. We can actually have that on here without having some weird offset mount like Kel-Tec because it folds to the side as opposed to up and down. Now it's a little thicker like this, but you're able to have optics, and it's able to be put back into action very, very quickly, and I like that a lot. The gun itself charges down here, which is easy to use and universal, so if you're a left-hander, you can do that as well. The trigger is very nice. It's very similar to the competitor or the new M&P 2.0 series. So it's got a crisp trigger and it has an M-LOK rail right out of the factory. Coming in at around 700 bucks, this is a great steal in my opinion, and you're gonna get a lot more reliability, durability, just because it's made of better materials from a superior company. If you are looking for a tiny little PCC that takes 9mm because you wanna shoot economically, because 9mm is so cheap, but you wanna fold it up and store it in, I don't know, underneath the seat of your boat or something. Whatever you wanna do to fold this up, it fits in a bag, it fits in a case really nice, and you're gonna be able to have a gun that you can carry with you, maybe into the bush or something like that, that's still gonna be extremely effective and very light. It also has 2 mag holders on the back of the stock there, so you can store it just like this with 2 fully loaded mags, and when you wanted to, you can just break it out, pull them out, load it, rack the charging handle, and you're good to go. In at number 3, our first pistol. We're gonna be talking about a gun that really impressed me this year, even though I didn't think I was initially gonna like it. This is the Ruger Security 380. Now, it doesn't seem like it would be that good of a gun. More of a full-size subcompact, I guess. Not really on the micro train like a lot of the other pistols. And it's actually in 380 as opposed to 9mm, which the most common subcompacts these days are gonna be a 9mm. But Ruger made this pistol for a specific reason, and that was for people with arthritic hands, that was people of smaller stature, and that was people who want to get into the concealed carry game that probably need a gun more than somebody who's physically fit, that can now have a gun to use for self-defense. If your grandma's looking for a carry gun, if your wife who doesn't shoot much is looking for one, or maybe that IT guy who doesn't work out much and eats too much soy, this is a great gun for you. The gun comes with an MSRP of only $369. It only weighs 19 ounces and it has a capacity of 10 or 15 plus 1 of 380. Now 380, if you don't know, is actually 9mm Kurtz. It's the same diameter as 9mm, it just has a little bit less powder. What I would consider it to be is probably the lightest and smallest caliber that I would use for self-defense. I would not feel unarmed with 15 rounds of 380, especially if you're able to shoot it well. And with this gun, you are able to do that. It does have the light rack system, so the slide is very easy to use, which helps out a lot for people that have arthritis or people that have weaker hands that have trouble getting around in the chamber. Previously to this, the systems that were used were like the top open barrel system of the Beretta that was then poorly copied by Taurus, whereas I feel like this system, very similar to the Smith & Wesson EZ series, is much easier to use. Since it has a lighter spring as well, it also reduces the overall recoil you feel. The lightened slide with all the slide cuts in it also reduce that recoil as well. So you have a compact to subcompact size 380 with a big enough grip to hold onto, a safety in case you want that, good sights, fiber optic front with a blacked out rear, and they are dovetail adjustable as well. And then you have a pretty good trigger, making this a very capable gun with super light recoil that's easy to load. So if your granny wants to get strapped, this is a great way to go. And again, for a price of only $350, it sits right in there with some of the cheapest pistols on the market with much higher manufacturing quality. At number 2, the Henry Big Boy X. One of my favorite guns we've shot this year, the Henry Big Boy X, brings the lever action into the modern era. If you were looking for a lever action, if you like the Rifleman, if you're a big John Wayne or Clint Eastwood fan, but you want to get into something with some tactical features, this is where I would go. I like this thing so much. This gun is what I would consider the perfect model to get as far as a tactical lever action out of the box. Drilled and tapped for a Picatinny rail if you want to put an optic on there, and I have on my previous Henrys. I just haven't got around to it on this one yet. You have a rail up front for light, so you can easily use this for home defense. You have an 8+1 capacity of 357, but you can get more if you want to. It also has a threaded barrel, so you want to put a suppressor on it because 38 is very, very quiet, and you can actually use that with a 9mm can, so that's pretty awesome as well. It has a beveled feeding ramp here, so it's easier to put the rounds in. A fiber optic front sight with a fiber optic rear, although I wouldn't recommend these sights because they are a little bit harder to use. I would certainly put a dot on it. Now, where I think this really shines is the fact that A, you can put a light on it, and you can use a lever action for home defense in states where maybe you can't use a semi-auto, but really the lever design on the new Big Boy X is my personal favorite lever design I've ever tried. Now, it's a little bit smaller than the big loops, and it's a little bit bigger than the small loops. Right in the middle, perfect portage. And what you get out of that is you're going to be able to get enough space to put your hand in with gloved hands, a little bit of traction, a little bit of space to run it quickly without too much space so you're banging your knuckles into it when you use the gun. Henry also did a great job on the action. One of the smoothest actions on a lever action I've ever tried. If you compare this to maybe something like the new POF Tombstone, it's night and day. This is so easy to rack, so easy to use, so easy to get rounds in and out, and the POF is an absolute nightmare that gets caught every time you lever the gun. So if you're looking for a pistol caliber lever action, I would go for something like this, which is more traditional, over something like the POF. Now I know the magazine compatibility and stuff like that with the Scorpion is very attractive on the POF, but trust me, in the lever gun experience, the most important thing is always the action and the lever and how you run it, because every round you fire out of a lever action, you're going to be running it. So you're going to notice it pretty quickly whether you like it or dislike it. And in this case, I would consider this one the best one currently on the market. We have a serrated hammer, so if you want to drop the hammer and leave it safe and then use it like that, you can also do that. On the back, we do have a pretty awesome stock as well, which is polymer, which makes the gun very light at about 7.5 pounds. So if you want to use this in 357 and you want to go hunt with this, you absolutely can. Very light, easy to sling. You put a scope on this real quick and you're going to have a banging package for not only home defense, but you can hunt with it and you can sure as hell have a lot of fun with it too. I also forgot to mention it does have a couple of M-lock slots as well, and there is a lot of aftermarket forends and stocks for this that you can really tactical this bad boy up. If you're interested in that, check out my buddy Nick's channel. The price on this is around $1,000, goes higher or lower depending on what state you're in, what area you're in, but I think these are going to be available pretty much anywhere you go. And there won't be any honorable mentions on this video just because it's kind of a fun video, but we're going to have plenty of top fives this month, so make sure to subscribe if you like the video. That being said, let's get into number one, and this is one of my favorite guns in the world. Oh yeah. This is my Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. Now, the Shield Plus Performance Center is one of my favorite guns, and this is my version of it. I did a little bit to it, but how the gun comes out of the box is very, very good as well. This gun is a polymer frame striker-fired pistol with a 3 or 4-inch barrel. It comes with a safety or without, comes with the takedown lever, swappable magazine release, amazing texture for a carry gun, and you get 10+1 or 13+1, all for the low, low weight of around 20 ounces. So for $600, you can get a freaking ported Micro 9 that's unbelievably reliable, takes popular magazines in the Shield Plus, takes very popular holsters in the Shield Plus holsters because it's a freaking Shield Plus. It just happens to have a better trigger, and you can either get them ported or not, and you can either get them optics ready or not. So it's just a slightly upgraded version of my favorite gun, and I've been extremely happy with this. The Shield Plus has very low recoil and pulse together already, because all the M&Ps do, partly because of how you can get up in the bore axis, partly because of the texture. The grip is a little bit wider and the gun's a little bit bigger than the P365, so it handles that recoil and the shots are faster because of that. Add the actual porting that you get right from Smith & Wesson, and you're going to have a very, very shootable gun. Now, one thing I like about this is it's not a single port comp up in the front like the P365. It's actually a dual port system that goes out the side, and I actually kind of copied that on my Aries that you probably saw earlier this week. And the reason for that is because when you're using super hot ammo, occasionally you can see the flash. It's still going to be out of your vision and it's not going to disrupt your sight picture. And we did some shooting at night with this. We've been using the Holosun 507K with this because it's one of the best micro optics. This is unbelievably accurate. They really knocked it out of the park with this gun. Smith & Wesson has been coming out with so many cool guns this year that it's kind of hard not to put 2 on each list that I do lately, it seems like. The trigger of itself is a flat-faced, single articulating trigger, not like the old ones they had, and it does break at 90 degrees, as you can see here, which is very comfortable for my hand. And then we can show the reset here, which is very short, light, and crisp, making the shooting experience for something this small really incredible. Every time I carry this, I feel very confident that I can handle any situation I need to. Because it's M&P, I feel confident in the reliability. Because of the ergonomics and the features that comes on the gun, it's one of the most, if not the most shootable Micro 9 on the market, and for only $600, man, it's hard to beat this thing. I think that you're going to be more than happy with this if you decide to spend your tax return money on this guy, and you'll have to let me know what you guys think. Which guns did you guys buy this tax season? Let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see any comparisons or different reviews on the channel, make sure to put that in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. It shoots really nice. It has low recoil. The stock is comfortable.